Welcome to Subramani. Today I'm going to talk to you about a person whom I used to know long ago and who used to come to our office and occasionally pick up some trade and make money. He would come, talk to us, sit with us, some share he would pick up, and he would pick up 50 shares, he would pick up 100 shares, and he would make some money. And after 6 months in a bull market, he started believing that he's become a great investor. He picked up a couple of shares which his father funded, and he made a lot of money. A lot of money, I'm talking of the 1980s, must be 80s and 90s. And then something got into him that he started thinking that he's become a great investor. He started making his own calls and he made some more money. He made enough money to shift to a bigger house in Ghatkopar. He used to live in a 1 BHK. From 1 BHK he shifted to a 2 BHK, which itself was difficult because those days real estate prices used to be high. And but he did shift, he did make that shift, and then slowly he had built a portfolio. And then there is no reason why he should have started believing that he's become a great investor, because largely he was picking up from one of our research guys who was a technical analyst, and he would tell him to buy he would buy anything. He could buy an MRF he would buy a 8 rupees share or a 1200 rupee. That was the price at which MRF was at those times. And then suddenly one day he started, he wanted to know what is Badla and how to do it. And our office had warned him against this, said don't do Badla, and so he felt a little uneasy dealing with us. And then by the time Badla was banned and the F&O was introduced, he was more comfortable. He said, I'm going to do F&O. And in our office, we refused to do F&O unless we were convinced that the person could get the right calls, and whether he could do it on his own or whether he needed some help from our office. Remember, I was a broker at those times, and F&O had just started, so we didn't think it was worth doing F&O with him. So he left us. He went away somewhere else, and we just refused to open his F&O account because we were very particular about whose F&O account we would open. And he went somewhere else and he started doing well. We heard then he became a sub-broker, and he started dealing for clients. He would occasionally call up somebody from our office and get some tips, and maybe he was getting tips from elsewhere. But definitely he was not an investor. I don't doubt whether he would know if he was given an annual report and told that please find out who are the auditors. He may have taken time. So no ability to read balance sheets and pick stocks, and that was unheard of. But yeah, occasionally you would pick up because he may have heard about this somewhere. Now, why am I building this up? To tell you. Then he started doing F&O for himself. He started doing F&O for clients because corporate brokers had mushroomed and everybody wanted business. So he started doing all that. And one fine day, I was told, somebody came and told me, he said, do you remember that guy? And I said, yes. He said he shifted from Ghatkopar to Dombivli. Now, in investing parlance, it means your net worth got wiped out, and to pay for the difference you shift to Dombivli. And from an ownership house in Ghatkopar, he went to a rented house in Dombivli because he had completely wiped out. He owed more money than what he had. So even after this, he still owed money to the people, and that was it, complete. Now nobody is going to write about him. He is not a rags to riches and riches to rag kind of a story. Yes, he went from here. Somebody took him till here, then he came back here, and yes, he went lower. But it's not a great story, right? I mean, if he had gone from here and stayed here, let's say a Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, then it's a story. Or somebody like an Anil Ambani, he was here and he came down, that's a story. But when somebody goes like this and goes like this and comes down like this, there's no story. Going from 5 lakh net worth to say 4 crore net worth and 4 crore back to zero. Not a story, right? Nobody wants to do these kind of stories. It's not pleasant. Of course, from going from 0 to 500 crores and then falling becomes a story. But 0 to 4 crores and coming down to 0 is not a big story. So you will not read about such people in the press, but these are the people who have been ruined because, let me now narrate. One, overconfidence in what you know, because what happens is you heard from somebody, you are in touch with that guy, and that guy is indulgent enough to tell you, acha, buy this, buy that, right? But you're still dependent. You keep forgetting that the only asset you have in your life is that guy's phone number and that guy's goodness in sharing it with you. Something could happen. He could say, I don't want to share it with you, or he could say, no, I've taken up a job, I'm not allowed to share it with you, or he migrates to Dubai for some other job, so he goes away. Any of these things could happen. So you don't really have any of your own skills. But then when you get 2-3 things right, and then you talk to 3-4 people, and then you got various sources of information, you start believing that you're God, and then you can't go wrong, and then you may start making your own calls, and in a bull market even that goes right? For example, somebody tells you that Banari Amman Sugar is a good company, you go and buy Banari Amman Spinning because you didn't know the difference, and you make money. That is what happens in the bull market, and that makes you overconfident. And what overconfidence does, it kills you as an investor. Now this guy, assuming you have great stock picking skills, assuming that you knew when to buy iPro Discovery, when to sell iPro Discovery, you knew when to invest in Franklin India Blue Chip, you knew when to get out, assuming you got it right? Even then, that is not financial planning. Financial planning is a full gamut of things that you have to do. You have to know how to have a goal, how to do a goal setting, how to create a budget, how to know where you are today, which means to create a balance sheet, to create a profit and loss account, to make a budget statement, to see where to go, and ability to pick stocks, and the ability to sit tight, knowing which is a multi-bagger and which is a complete waste of time. So let us assume you bought, obviously at different points in time, you bought GMR Industries at 70 rupees and you bought Gillette at 70 rupees. Gillette went from 70 to 5,400. So not selling made you a lot of money. You bought GMR Industries at 70 rupees and somebody told you when it was 68 that it's not a good share, not worth buying. But you said, no, I'm a buy and hold investor, and you held it from 7, it went down to 9 rupees, right? You lost 61 rupees, that is, you lost almost 100%, right? So this is what can happen. So picking stocks is nice, it is useful, it does not make up your life. It is not going to, even assuming you have a multi-bagger, you have one multi-bagger, that is going to be good, it is going to be great for your portfolio, yes, but somewhere you will rebalance, or something you will say, how much higher can it go, right? That's a stupid question to ask, but yes, people will ask that question, how much higher can it go? It is already at very good earning and it has a PE of 48. Isn't this a good time to sell? Maybe, maybe not. You can't go by just what has happened in the past. You bought a share for 2 rupees, it has gone to 82 rupees. You think, how much higher can it go? You never know, right? So the ability to buy a share, ability to create a portfolio, and ability to handle your whole personal finance are 3 completely different skills. Not everybody has them, and maybe not everybody needs them, because you're way below. Look at a family which is earning very well, let's look at a person earning 2 crores and spending about 5-7 lakhs a year. There is absolute disconnect. So this guy can do whatever he wants, he can make mistakes and things like that. See what is your situation. Can you afford to make mistakes? Will that mistake wipe you out? Even assuming you know what is goal setting, you have done all that, can you build a portfolio? Buying a single stock is different. Portfolio weightage, how much shares to buy, at what price to sell, and portfolio rebalancing. All these skills put together go to creating a portfolio, not just saying I'm a great stock picker. That's a very good start, but that's not enough. It's like saying I'm a very good cook, so I want to run a restaurant. The ability to run a restaurant is far different, right? You get licenses, you have to have money, you have to set it up, you have to employ people, you have to make sure that people don't run away during pandemic like this, right? All those managerial skills you need to run a restaurant, exactly like that in your financial life. There are a lot of skills that you need apart from stock picking. In fact, stock picking is the least of the skills, right? So be careful about these things. So I thought I should tell you this rags to riches to rags story. There's no use doing that. Thank you.